right. Well, I'm Clay Eltzroth. I'm a product manager at Bloomberg News, and for some reason, I always end up. Good. Okay. I end up going after Lisa, and I can basically say, yeah, we do the same thing, but that would be just too simple to come up and do that. But a little bit about my journey into the product manager role. So I started off as an editor at Bloomberg. I learned very quickly that our clients care a lot about the money they invest in the news that we produce. I had a really bad run-in with some of our clients, and that all happened based on a headline that I sent out based on a company called Sino-Forest. If you're familiar with Muddy Waters Research and Carson Block, that was the very first story that they had ever done. And I got a lot of phone calls within, I think, milliseconds telling me a lot of bad things about myself that I didn't know. And what that led to was the newsroom lawyer sitting next to me for the rest of the time I was an editor, which was also good because every single interview that I had someone next to me to audit my questions and answers that I got from them in real time via email, which wasn't fun either. But that led to me starting a team within Bloomberg where we monitored for breaking news across all third-party content, including Twitter. And at the time, no one else was really doing it to the extent that we were. And I went to being managing editor. I helped roll out TikTok. And then I had a great opportunity to come into a product manager role where I would help integrate AI, machine learning, and speech-to-text in the newsroom. So I hopped at that opportunity. It's been less than a year. We've done a lot, and usually you hear about what we do at Bloomberg. We hear the 2,700 journalists and analysts that we have, but what you don't necessarily hear is we have 5,000 engineers that work with us. And that kind of falls into a happy medium between more engineers than news organizations have, but significantly less engineers than big companies like Facebook or Microsoft or Google have. And do all those engineers work on news? No, but they help gather data, make the processes easier for our clients who use the terminal, and also for us. So getting to automation, that's one of the reasons why I want to become a product manager. Automation, one of the byproducts of automation is a lot of content. And thanks to that, it's great. You get a lot of coverage on things that you normally wouldn't, quicker, faster, better, but you also get a lot of volume. And also with social media, you get even more. So people are just inundated all the time with that, and that's a big problem within news. So you've probably read the New York Times article on automation and what Bloomberg is doing. We use a tool called Cyborg to process thousands of data points in seconds and send out headlines and generate stories. That's really cool. We used to have people that did that. They transitioned into roles where they're capturing the data, they're QCing the data, and they're also looking through the press releases because automation is not perfect, at least not yet for a lot of things. And with the AI products that we've been developing, I talk to a lot of journalists, I sit down, I explain it to them, and once I take them through the entire process, they get it and they go, wow, how does that happen? Like, how does this model work so well? So I tell them that basically the secret is, as we go through and we train the model during a brief period of time, we'll go to the server, we'll say, hey, look, if you don't get this right, we're going to replace you with a human. Now, I always tell that joke whenever I'm presenting things, and a lot of people find it funny, but then there's always some where it's like, oh gosh, computers are going to replace me, but that's not really the case. I think that, like they've pointed out before, Nick and Lisa, reporter roles are kind of transitioning. You can leverage data to make things quicker, faster, better, and I think that's very unique compared to when I first started as a reporter. Things are so much easier to do. Trying to sift through massive amounts of data would take weeks sometimes, and now it can just take a couple of seconds thanks to AI. So at Bloomberg, what we've been looking at of how can we best use AI, and that's to basically benefit the reporters and the people that are writing content and producing content. And it all boils down to one thing. is what can you scale? And for us, if you're, in the past, you were a reporter, you would hop on a conference call, you would take notes, you would try to rewind, but most of the time there's no place to rewind during the conference call, and you'd wait on a replay that would show up 2 days later. So the quotes that you would get and things like that didn't really work well. So we started transcribing these, still involved one reporter, one call. We tried reporters being on 2 calls at once, headphone in each ear. That did not work out well. So what we're looking at now is like how can we best utilize machine learning to bridge that gap? There are thousands of companies that report earnings. We don't have thousands of reporters to listen to all of those calls. So what we are looking at is we can transcribe those calls, and obviously the next step, which I guess anybody would be doing, is can we leverage machine learning to detect things that occur on those particular conference calls? So yeah, I mean, it's something that I know that our clients do. There was an FT article earlier this week about that. I think a lot of our competitors are probably doing the same thing. It's very interesting. One of the biggest things that we're doing at Bloomberg right now is we're going through and educating the reporters on what AI and machine learning is. And I think that if we look at all the things AI and machine learning can do, getting the reporters and the journalists on our side to help us do that is probably one of the biggest challenges for me right now. Because everyone's worried about the job. They think that the way they do things is very unique and they do it a certain way. So I think the education around AI and machine learning is probably one of the biggest things, I think, for newsrooms going forward. And I think that's pretty much it on my end. I'm really looking forward to the panel, actually, and getting a lot of questions from folks. So thank you.